What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. Hi if you're new here, hi if you're not. I do just want to start this video by apologizing if the lighting seems weird. I live in the Pacific Northwest and it's either raining here or so sunny that I'm in a battle with the weather. And it was sunny and now it's overcast and I was filming and it was perfect and then it got really dark. And anyway, I've just been fighting with this for like the past 20 minutes. So we're just gonna hope for the best. And if you don't like it, close your eyes and just listen, okay? Now in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to a handful of TikToks by certified business coaches. And I haven't watched any of these videos yet, but I am sure that we are in for a ride. So without further ado, before we get into any of that, I do want to shout out my VIP channel members. That's Kojo, Lisa Hans, Why Self-Help Sucks, Lisa Loading, and Pablo Eater. If you're interested in joining my channel membership, you can click the join button down below. Members get access to all of my videos a day early, plus a bunch of other cool perks, so feel free to check that out if you're interested in learning more. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our first video. Okay, so first up we have this coach here who I have featured in other videos here on my YouTube channel just because a lot of the stuff that she says to me is so wild and so privileged and I just can't believe it. So I'm assuming that we are in for a ride here, so buckle up. The caption on this video is things they don't tell you about making $90,000 months. So let's go ahead and see what she has to say.
Some of the things they don't tell you about making $90,000 a month. This gets normalized really quickly. And if you were here for my $50,000 a month training where I said $50,000 a month gets normalized really quickly, but it is so true. When I first started my business, I thought making $5,000 a month, I'm like, $5,000 a month? Yes, that is everything. That is it. And then I made $50,000 and then $60,000 and now we're at $90,000 consistent cash months. And I will tell you, it is incredible and it is amazing in all of those things, but also it's pretty normalized now. And I'm already thinking, what's the next step? Where am I going? Which I think is amazing. Number two, most people are going to think you're insane. I don't live a normal life. And honestly, I was never meant to live a normal life. I don't know what normal is. When I've been traveling right now, I live in Thailand, I was just in Doha, I was in Dallas, I was in Mexico, I was in Montreal, now I'm in Vancouver, and then I'm going to Miami, and I'm going back to Thailand. Whenever I meet people, they're like, what is your life? I'm like, I don't know. I just took a lot of risks, took a lot of action, got in a room with other crazy people, and here I am. Number three, you can doubt yourself and still be successful. Everyone's like, Bridge, what do you do when you doubt yourself? I'm like, I doubt myself and win at the same time. Doubt is in the back seat. I am in the driver's seat. Like, I'm gonna keep going. You can come with me, but I'm deciding where I go in my destiny. Number four, haters. Haters, they're real. They're there, they're alive. I think one of my things is that I believe all people are good, which is amazing, but I don't expect people to be mean. And then when I meet people that are just downright nasty, I'm like, oh, ow. And the last one, I'm not any different than I was when I first started. Yeah, I might love myself more. Yeah, I might be more confident. Yeah, I might know a thing or two about marketing and sales and using social media, but I'm still my weird, freaky self.
Oh, this lighting. I'm sorry. Is that better? Maybe that's better. Okay, so for context, this individual is one of the ones from my previous videos who was talking about how in order to provide more value or to charge more money to your clients, you don't have to provide more value. You just have to show up more confidently, just as an aside to give you a little bit of context. Now, a lot of what she said to me is particularly problematic only because I know that this individual makes the majority of her money through coaching other coaches on how to coach other coaches, which in itself is not really a real business. She had no previous business experience when she decided to call herself a business coach. And I think that if push came to shove and she was put into a position where she was opening, let's say like an actual business, bakery, for example, I always use the example of a bakery. I don't think she would know how to do that because she only knows how to sell really well, market herself really well on the guise of I make $90,000 a month. I make $10,000 a month. And having watched her progression from when she was making $10,000 a month to now, I know that the majority of her marketing and her videos revolves around how much money she makes. And if you've watched any of my videos that outline the red flags to look out for when hiring a mentor, someone who uses how much money they're making as a key strategy in their marketing campaign is only going to teach you how to copy and paste the formula they're using. It's not a real marketing strategy. Actual successful businesses don't need to disclose how much money they're making in order to get you to buy into whatever it is they're selling. And so, generally speaking, I just don't like this video. I think knowing the context of what her business is. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. I also don't understand the weird use of accents in her video. It just gives me the ick, but I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Okay, this next video doesn't have a caption, but it's titled How to Attract More Money in Your Business.
If you're seeing this video, chances are you are very much so meant to be rich and you are in alignment with my energy. So here's some advice on how you can attract more money into your current reality. Your circumstances literally do not matter. I come from nothing, zero, broke bitch to rich bitch in less than 1 year. You can tell a different financial abundance story at any point in your journey. The only thing that affects your experience is the way that you utilize the non-physical energy with your thought. Your abundance or lack of it in your experience has nothing to do with what anybody else is doing or has done. It only has to do with your perspective. It only has to do with your offering of thought. If you want your fortunes to shift, you have to begin telling yourself a different story.
I've talked about videos like this in many of my other videos here on YouTube, but comments like this, well, first of all, the whole law of attraction thing, I don't believe it's real. You can watch this video here as to why, but I think that attitudes like this really just disregard a lot of the inherent privileges that many of these people who find success tend to have. And it doesn't really account for the systematic issues and oppression that the majority of the population face that disables them from being able to just believe their way into success. And so I find it really discouraging when I see videos like this, because what's likely to happen is that people who are in systematic situations where they can't necessarily just choose their way out of it, whether it's their socioeconomic status, perhaps they're physically disabled, perhaps they face other challenges that prevent them from being able to quote unquote function as a normal member of society, whatever that means, they are then led to believe that it's their own beliefs and their own mindset that's the reason why they're not successful, when really there are so many barriers that are preventing them from being able to just simply choose to be abundant or successful. So I just find it kind of distasteful, and it's not really fully honest. Many of these coaches, I'm not saying this one in particular, I don't know who this individual is, but many of these coaches don't like to address the advantages and privileges that they had that enabled them to be able to choose that path of success. Okay, this one is titled How to Make Crazy Money in Your 20s the Lazy Way, and the caption is just about her wearing her Invisalign, so she might have a little bit of a lisp.
If you want to make as much money as possible, but you're also a lazy girl like me, let me spill the tea on what these six-figure millennials are doing to get rich. The key to getting rich is something called leverage, which means that you are getting paid a lot of money relative to the work that you do. One example of leverage is being an expert in one area and then getting paid like thousands of dollars just to get on a few phone calls with people, which is kind of what my boyfriend and I do. Well, you might be thinking, how do I get leverage? How do I get people to pay me a lot of money when my boss at work doesn't even want to pay me $15 an hour, even though I have a master's degree? Well, the first thing is you do it through personal branding. If you think about Hermes or Versace, they get paid a lot of money because they have a strong brand. Second thing is learning a high income skill. This is my boyfriend's career, but he got paid $5,000 to write one email a day by different brands. So he was making six figures at like 21 years old because he had a high income skill, which is copywriting.
Okay, that one was actually quicker than I expected it to be, but I just want to say that just because you can personal brand your way into being an expert doesn't mean that you're actually an expert in this thing. And I think this is the issue that I see time and time again, especially in the business coaching industry, which I've said in so many of my videos, is that so many of these people don't actually have business experience. They just woke up one day, decided to paste the label on themselves of business coach, and then they're really good at marketing and branding, so they convince a few people that like, hey, I'm a business coach, I can help you grow your business, but all they know is this copy paste formula that they learned from their own business coach. And then no one's actually transferring any valuable skills. They're just charging inflated prices for a mediocre service. And so I really don't like when people try to simplify this and make it sound like anyone can be an expert in anything, because I think that really discredits the people who are true experts in particular subjects. And it makes it hard for the consumer to be able to decipher like who's legit and who's not. And that's exactly why I make the content that I do. So I don't like it. If you don't have skills in a specific area, put in the time and put in the effort to develop those skills. Don't just wake up one day and decide that you're an expert in something and then personally brand your way to success, because that's a scam and we don't support that here. Moving on. This video is titled Starting an Online Business or Coaching Business from Scratch Step by Step. And the caption reads, "This is how we grew our online coaching business to £50,000 a month. You don't need a degree or qualifications, guys. Just learn a skill. Working from anywhere at any time is the life to be living." Sounds to me like we're going to have a lot of a similar story to the video we just watched. You don't need to know anything. You don't need to actually be an expert. You can just decide your way to expertise.
If you're wanting to start from scratch and have your own online business or coaching business, then here's what you need to do. No gatekeeping, and this is what helped us to grow our online coaching business to over £50,000 a month. First, you need to have a skill. So this skill could be something that you're really knowledgeable on or that you've got experience in. Make sure that it is going to be solving someone's problem. If you haven't got a skill yet, then learn one, and here's some examples for you. Step 2, you need to create content around that skill. So sharing value, your journey, your learnings, and make sure when you're creating this content, you've always got your target audience's pain points in mind. Step 3, you want to reach out to those who are engaging with your content. Chances are if people are engaging with your content, then they probably relate to what it is that you're saying. Step 4, anyone who you're speaking to that you think would be a good fit to learn what it is that you have to teach, then offer them a call and sell them your offer. And it's as simple as that. If you're still not sure what you need to do, drop me a comment and I'll help you with your next steps.
Please, for the love of whatever you believe in, do not cold message people and pitch them your services. This is like my number one pet peeve, especially now that I have gained a little bit of traction here on YouTube, for example. I get emails and DMs on Instagram every single day of people pretending they know who I am and what I talk about, trying to sell me their services for SEO, for thumbnails, for description writing, captions, etc. And it's just like, if I didn't look for your help, why are you reaching out to me assuming that I need your help? A little bit of an aside, but I just find that really irritating and icky. That gives me like 2015 Instagram growth vibes, where it was cool to like go through the followers of accounts that are similar to yours and then reach out to anyone who liked that person's post or commented and then comment on their stuff. And that's how you're going to grow your Instagram following. I don't know. That whole kind of approach just seems really icky and not genuine to me. And I think that if you are truly an expert in something, sure, show up and share your expertise online. But that kind of work should speak for itself. You shouldn't be having to like chase people around to convince them that you're the expert they need. Would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. Okay, last video here is titled The Exact Formula for $100,000 Months. And the caption reads, "The 10K Days Formula to Grow Your Online Coaching Business. I never gatekeep, so I got you guys." I, again, haven't watched this video, but let me just assume that she is going to go over her magic formula that if you copy it, you will have the same success, which if you know anything about business is not true. There's no copy and paste solution, but let's see what she has to say.
Building a successful coaching business is literally not as complicated as you guys think. I've grown multiple coaching businesses to 7 figures, and in doing so found a repeatable formula that all you have to do is follow it, and that's how you will scale your business. On this video, I want to break down this step-by-step process that you will take in order to scale that successful coaching business of yours. Step number 1 to scaling a coaching business would be to start a scalable program. What I mean with starting a scalable program is that you don't really want to take in too much one-on-one client. Now, my personal favorite program structure would be a combination of one-on-ones with group clinics. For example, you can have your client go on a one-on-one with you as like an onboarding call, and then they can get on group clinics or group meetings, however you want to call them, with, you know, a certain amount of people. And you can have certain groups with like maximum 10 people. On these groups, you do a lot of hands-on work with each of the students. With this, you can bring in a lot of clients while still giving them quality results, since you're still giving them that one-on-one help through these group meetings. Number 2 would be niche down. Niching down is so important because when you niche down to specific target audience, you will have a product just for them, and that will be so much more valuable to them than if you were selling a broad product that people don't really take too seriously and are not really willing to pay a lot of money for, since it's a one-for-all product. People will find way more value in the products that are specifically made for them. Number 3, raise your prices. When you have higher ticket prices, you invite higher ticket people that actually appreciate your product and actually put in the work to get the results that you're supposed to give them. So don't be scared to raise your prices because you are worth so much more. Number 4 would be to delegate the work. You might not want to delegate the work as soon as you start off with your coaching business, but when you do hit 6 figures, meaning 8K months, you do want to let go of a lot of workload and give it to an assistant. If you're gonna want to scale a business, you're gonna have to trust other people to take care of the work for you. Because once you have more volume of clients, you're definitely not gonna be able to take care of all those clients yourself. You want to focus on marketing and improving your actual product. Which takes me to number 4, marketing. Marketing is the most important part of a business. I cannot stress this enough. If your marketing is not working, your whole business will not be working. And a good thing I like to do with marketing, which is really gonna help you guys out, is tracking. Track the amount of clients that you close or the amount of people that even come in through these social platforms or through your marketing. So you can see exactly what you did in that time frame with your marketing, and you can double down on that marketing strategy.
Okay, so I took a few notes while we were watching this video just because she did go over a few points and I wanted to make sure that I address each one individually. So the first point was about don't offer one-on-one coaching, only offer group coaching. And I think that this in itself is a little bit problematic. And I only say this, and I think I've talked about this in other videos, because I feel as a service provider, the best way to actually provide a service to an individual is in a one-on-one setting. If you come to me and you say, hey, Danielle, I have this business and I'm facing problem XYZ, and I'm working in a one-on-one setting with you, I'm going to be able to tailor the advice that I give you specific to you, specific to your business, and specific to that problem. Now, if you come to me with that same problem in that same business, but we're now in a group setting where there's 10 other people with 10 other businesses and 10 other problems, I am no longer, as the service provider, able to adequately help you address that problem. Sure, there are benefits to group programs. You can learn from the other people in the program, but for you to be able to see that same level of solution to your specific problems, I think isn't attainable in a group setting. And yes, there are places for both kind of formats depending on what your business is. I just don't think that as a service provider, particularly I feel like she's targeting new service providers, you should be focused on group coaching. You need to validate that the model and the service that you're providing is valid, and that can only really, in my opinion, be done in a one-on-one setting. If you are genuinely in the business of wanting to help people while also making money, it is my opinion that you would focus more on the types of program delivery that allow for help to actually be provided in a meaningful way. Now, next was her point about higher ticket. You need to raise your prices. I don't think that anyone should be raising their prices until they've validated that they're actually providing valuable service, but I think in the coaching industry, this is a narrative that is perpetuated over and over again. If you watched the live video I did the other day, we actually saw that this coach who certifies coaches was encouraging brand new life coaches to be charging £2,500, which I think with the conversion rate was like over $3,000 Canadian, to provide their services as brand new coaches, charging $3,000. I don't know any legitimate profession where you can graduate from school, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, some other kind of professional, where you're making $3,000 as an entry-level position. So this idea that if you want to make 6 or 7 figures, all you need to do is raise your prices, there is a disconnect between actual value being provided and your desire to be financially successful. And so to me, it just doesn't sit well. But again, I'm not someone who's really like highly motivated by money, so maybe that's my problem. But I just think that it's unfair to take advantage of people so that you can financially gain when you're not necessarily providing value that aligns with the price tag. Okay, next piece was delegating work. Again, I don't have any problem with people hiring, a VA. I used to have a VA that did admin tasks for me when I was at a point where I was really busy in my business and just didn't have time to take care of certain tasks. However, I don't think it's really entirely necessary until, again, you have scaled a business large enough that you literally don't have the capacity to continue to grow that business, unless you are to delegate work. It's just to promote it to people who haven't really started in their business, I think is a little bit unnecessary. But again, other people might have other opinions about that. Okay, and then lastly is her point about how marketing is the most important part of a business. And while I do agree that marketing is a really important part of business, if you've been here any amount of time, I have an entire playlist that teaches you how to market your business. I think what's more important, again, is validating that the product or service that you're offering is actually legitimate. Because what we see in the coaching industry time and time again is that these people are really good at marketing and they focus so hard on marketing that their product sucks and they still make sales. And then there's no recourse for the people who feel like they got scammed to come back and get their money because the marketing worked so well. It convinced them it was the solution they need, but the product itself was just really crappy. And so because she's encouraging this, I think that's why we see this time and time again in the industry is these people are so good at marketing and personal branding, but they don't focus on the quality of the product. And so that gets lost along the way because they're focusing so hard on not the clients, just making the money. So again, as a marketer myself, it's just disappointing because if you took those skills that you have in marketing and personal branding and worked towards building an actual viable product or service, you could be so successful and not have to scam people along the way. But that's a story for another day. All right, friends, that's going to be it for this video. Again, thank you for bearing with me with this lighting situation. Hopefully I figure it out by next time. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. If you have any coaching scam stories that you want to share, my Google form is linked in the description down below. Take care, comb your hair, and I will leave you with this video right here next. Bye!